Bussy.
This is our worst one yet.
Yeah, we don't really plan to do these, except we kind of do, but we just forget to plan our cold opens and everything. So I just end up saying funny words into the microphone and forget to introduce this as, hey guys, I'm Connor.
I'm Kylen.
And this is still a podcast of sorts.
Let's talk about it.
Let's get down to talking about it. It's been a little bit longer since we've done this.
That's true. I did not realize ahead of time that my vacation fell on our normal recording week schedule. So I was just like, yeah, fuck it. So we took a little bit longer than normal break, but we're back.
How dare your celebration of being done with a semester interrupt our shitty content recording schedule?
My God, why would I ever do such a thing?
Why do you do this?
Truly, I am the worst human being.
Kyle with an N, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, Connor.
What have you been drinking tonight?
What haven't I drank tonight? Well, the night before, I decided I was going to drink a lot of Captain Morgan. And I've been suffering the consequences ever since.
Should we talk about that?
Do you want to talk about that?
Friends of the channel may know that we are loyal watchers and followers of Your Mine, Our Beloved S2E4. And
Friend of the channel, R-Squeed.
And there was a wonderful drunk stream of Super Bunnyman that EJ the Grey was a part of.
That's my boyfriend.
Yeah. Also friend of the channel, EJ the Grey, except he doesn't listen to the podcast.
He does not listen to the podcast. Everyone go on Twitter and tweet at EJ the Grey and just be like, why don't you listen to the podcast?
We'll do reverse pew-pews.
We will rap. Anyways.
We got very drunk because of that.
Well, you got very drunk because of that.
I had a lot of Monster vodka and tequila limeade and did not wake up great this morning. But you drank something a bit stronger than me.
Yeah, no, I decided to participate in the stream after dark, which is where we stayed on Discord and kept talking. And I was like, I'll just rum and coke it up. Coca-Cola it up, by the way.
Holy shit, I did too much coke.
So, I am notorious for having a heavy hand when making mixed drinks. And last night proved that. Because it took 1.5 drinks before I was absolutely hammered. So much so to the point that I made one drink of Coke, like 99% Coke and 1% rum, and my stomach almost turned.
You added 2 shots of rum.
Glug, glug. So, because of that, I am now recovering by drinking a lot of beer instead. So, I have this passion fruit and lime ale. It's
Drink with lime and them are typically that's typically where I tend to land in the beer drinking spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Got lime in it, I'm typically happy.
I think you would like this because it extremely tastes like lime. Like, it just tastes like somebody squeezed some lime juice into a bottle.
During the stream, I was having a whole bunch of these 6-ounce wine glasses, or 8-ounce wine glasses full of Monster vodka. But right now I'm enjoying a nice cup of coffee, which whenever I say coffee, of course, it's coffee Kahlua, Bailey's, and whipped cream vodka.
My God, Connor, how are you still alive?
Because I mix my ups and downs, which keeps me from getting a hangover. I do not recommend this. I am not saying go ahead and do this. I'm just saying this is what works for me.
Do as I say, not as I do. Please don't. Cannot guarantee the safety of livers.
I do not advocate the usage of all this, but I, as a caffeine addict, who has been a caffeine addict since he was 3 years old.
God damn.
Yeah, I have very fond memories of drinking coffee with my great-grandmother at 3 years old.
A perfect time to start.
Perfect time to start. But, rural Southern upbringing. That's just what we did. And now, here I am, not being able to feel anything unless I mix my ups and downs.
Wake me up! Wake me up! Save me! My God, this is already derailed. Okay.
I'm not doing the derail counter again. That was intense.
How many derails did we get up to?
I think like 10.
Oh my God.
Sober Connor, correct me.
Why does anyone listen to
this? So to try to get us back on rails, most of the people who listen to this podcast know us because of the communities that we run in, the tabletop role-playing game community, specifically the ones who play in a lot of broadcasted games on Twitch, and I think that's it, just Twitch.
On Twitch, yes.
On Twitch. Sometimes there are podcasts made, but on Twitch. So I think you have a bit more. You've played in a bit more games than I have.
Yeah, I
I'll let you get started.
In tons of games because I don't know how to quit. Let's see. I guess let's start. Oh yeah. So Monster of the Week finally had its finale. Have we talked about that?
No, we haven't.
Okay, good. So Monster of the Week finally had its finale after what was like a month break, which was a booty clenchingly tense good time.
Ooh, my booty is clenched.
Because it was almost purely action sequence.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the world starts getting taken over by aliens because, of course, hashtag Lemmy was right. Lemmy was always right. And so we figure out that, to stop this, we have to take out one of these 4 towers that, power up this landing pad for the spaceship. And if the spaceship lands, it's, all over. And I, found out that they kidnapped Lemmy's mom and sister, and they were, holding him in this, facility. And it was you don't have time to do both. You must choose.
Oh. God, those things are intense.
And
but that came up in our last game of Purgatory, right? The Dragon Knights. We didn't have enough time to do everything.
No, we didn't. And
that shit's intense.
So yeah, no, Lemmy being the good boy that he is was okay, no, we'll have to try and take out one of these towers, but maybe we can take out the tower that's closest to this holding facility, so maybe we can save them. And yeah, no, as he was leaving, his professor was all right, I love you, Lemmy. And Lemmy was that's weird. That's a weird ass thing to say. So he was thanks. an avocado.
Thanks.
But yeah, no, they go and like they get into this huge confrontation and they find Lemmy's dad, or who they think is Lemmy's dad. And then like Lemmy gets a phone call from like Professor Lovecraft, who's like, I love you. I never told you that. Because, you know, of course the phone cuts out.
Oh,
Because, of course. And then they find out that the Lemmy's dad was not even Lemmy's dad. It was just a fake alien trying to get info out of him. And then Lemmy does end up turning off the computer, shutting it all down. And they do end up having enough time to save Lemmy's mom and sister after all, because we had good rolls. Yeah, but then you find out at the end, because you get to see some secret alien footage that Professor Lovecraft is actually Lemmy's dad.
What?
His real ass dad who got alien shit implanted in him. So
what?
That's why he has black eldritch tentacles and shit.
Oh no!
So Professor Lovecraft was Lemmy's dad all along, pretending to not be Lemmy's dad, but Lemmy's stepdad. Connor, when my ass was thrown for a loop. And then I was just like, oh no, I didn't tell my dad I loved him. The final battle. But it's okay. We were able to save him. We were one shitty roll away from him dying, but we managed to pull through. So that was pretty much the end of that. It was a good season. I would love to maybe pick that sort of thing up again one day.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Just because it would be interesting to play Lemmy in another character arc. Because I think he wouldn't be a flake anymore. I think he would be another playbook. Because that's the thing about some Powered by the Apocalypse games, is if you get enough like experience advancements, you can change the type of class / playbook your character is.
Yeah.
So I think that would be appropriate for Lemmy. So it would be interesting to see a more mature, insane Lemmy. But that's the end for now, and it was a ton of fun.
Yay.
But I mean, geez, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about yours? Do you want to keep talking about mine?
Yeah, we'll swap over to my stuff. So right now I'm only the only live game that I'm playing right now is on twitch.tv/shit, what are we now? Indoor Adventures. Because we rebranded not too long ago.
Rebrand not once, but twice.
But now our channel name matches the logo and stuff. So yeah, it makes sense for us.
Yeah.
So we're still dealing with the Fallout, and that's actually the name of the story arc that we're playing through right now, Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with the fallout of Arjan Blake dying. He's now taken the name Arjan, which is the name that his dragon patron told him his mom named him. Arjan has never met his mom, but he is he's dealing with stuff because in the minute that he was dead, and he released this dragon inadvertently, he was sort of imprisoned in his own heart, and he's not. He didn't really like that. He's not a big fan of that, and well, he kind of feels for the dragon who's been living like that for 1,500 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
dangerous move, but okay.
Dangerous move, yeah. Um, but he's also saying, "Oh, I can't do this again because, according to this prophecy that our paladin has gone through, or has heard, we all need to be alive to, uh, we all need to be alive and here to stop this like eldritch thing called the Dark Star, which is going to destroy the world." So he has finally made a pact with his patron. Before, they never had a formal pact, but this pact is, you will help me deal with this calamity and the next one, which is the coming winter. And and if I die, you are not going to take over my body and keep me imprisoned here, because I need to stand against this thing. If you do that, I will try to help you retake your stuff and try to free you from my body.
Bah, Connor. Bad move.
Yes, it's a bad move. It's a very bad move. But part of it was just like, I really wanted to make that because I thought it would introduce some dramatic tension, and we'll talk about that in our second half.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. But also, I really want to pursue this story arc. I really do.
Let me suffer the consequences.
So he has made that pact and has taken his draconic name, Arjan, which we've talked about this on Indoors After Show, but it's lore that I'm particularly proud of. The name Arjan is
It's
draconic.
short for R. Jonathan.
Yes, R. Jonathan. R. Jonathan Yodaris.
That's the T.
The name Arjan is draconic, and it's draconic for silver.
That makes sense.
Because if you know your Latin languages, silver, argentium, well, in French it's pronounced argent. And Arjan happened to be like the first name in the Dragonborn recommended names list. So I was just like, Indoor, can we make that be silver? Because number one, I think it'd be really cool, just like as a precious metal, because dragons like their precious metals, and also because silver has connotations with monster hunting.
Connor, I swear to God, you stay on that bullshit. Like in Dragon Knights, whenever you're a dragon familiar with Argentine, which is silver related, I want to smack you in the mouth.
I have a brand. I have to maintain it. But yes, he has taken this name, and because he is a very honest individual. He had a deal with somebody, a ancient dragon of a yellowish metal. I think it's brass or bronze. I'm not sure.
Or copper, because who can tell the fucking difference?
It's not copper. I think it's brass or bronze. But because he doesn't lie, he's not a liar. He's a very honest individual. He had a deal that if he gets a staff back for this dragon, they would get a residence, a permanent residence on the island. So like people who need to hire them or send them stuff can do that. Well, he was honest about what happened. He died. Tarlayan was released, and Tarlayan took down a very important target, a pirate who was threatening this dragon's waters, his trade routes. And he said that, like, because of this pact I made, I had made this pact where I'll be able to live, but I'm going to have to free him, and I'm going to have to, like, help him retake his kingdom.
Oh, Connor.
Which, like, in the episode before, like, I had told R Justice, friend of the channel, R Justice, I had told his character, or Arjan had told his character that he thought that he was going to have to be very honest with it. And Caleb, his character, told me, don't say that. Don't do anything. We will talk for you. You just do not say anything.
No.
But in the moment, he was just like, Arjan, this is your deal. And I'm just like, huh? Bah. Well,
don't let me talk.
Time for me to make bad choices. Time for me to be real honest.
Gooddecisions.exe has stopped working.
So I ended up telling him, and we still get the thing. We just also are going to be exiled from the island, and we will not be able to return. So we have a permanent residence that we will never be able to return to.
Whoops.
So I think tomorrow, no, it is before midnight, actually, where I'm at.
Hey.
So Monday, I think we're going to go through a little bit more downtime so that I can finish making my first batch of potions to sell at the shop. And hopefully we'll be able to hire somebody who can just, like, you know, live on a tropical island and sell potions in a house that's already paid for.
Hey, living the dream life.
So yeah, hopefully we can get that started so that we can make money that we can never go back and reclaim, except our paladin, who is Arjan's best friend. Like, they started this thing together. They were the first two party members to meet each other. Our paladin went over and talked to him, and said, like, hey, I'm not cool with, like, being exiled. I don't even know what happened, because my player was actually not here that week. But
I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
TLDR, Corey, the paladin, made a deal that, like, she would probably kill me if I was going to release the dragon, if she had to. So she's actually allowed back to the island. She hasn't told me about it.
Yeah, y'all are some fucking best friends.
But I mean, it's funny because, like, if she actually talked to Arjan about it, he would be cool with it. Because he knows that releasing the dragon is going to be a bad idea, but he's thinking that, okay, at least he's not going to destroy the world.
Mm-hmm. So he's just like, promise this shit now to get what I want, figure out a way to deal with it later.
For the most part. Like, I think that he's like indifferent about going along with it, because, like, yes, this dragon is still, like, part of him. But yes, it's very evil. But it's also helping him right now. But also, it's done a lot of very horrible things and will continue to do horrible things. So, like, he's going back and forth on it. But, you know, that's just a thing that he's pursuing. He knows that Arjan's been breaking the fourth wall a lot. He knows it's a story thread that he can tug at.
God damn it.
So yeah, what's going on in your other games?
Oh, well, let's see.
Well, why don't we talk about Monster Hearts?
Oh, you want to talk about Monster Hearts, or do you want to talk about Alas for the Alpha Sea? Which one?
Both, because I'm done talking about my games.
So what we then know is Storms and Stars, which is Alas for the Awful Sea. And Connor, for the life of me, I cannot remember what I talked about last time I was on here.
People drowning, people going out into the water and drowning.
Oh, but that's been since the beginning. Shit. Okay.
Did y'all finally leave the island? Or was there still a storm?
No!
You still haven't left the island?
We still haven't left the island. Okay. So I think since we've last talked, we've had 2 episodes. So yeah, basically, anytime we roll dice, we fail, and things get so much worse. So, essentially, we after we saved Elizabeth and Harper from drowning, Harper was passed out for an entire episode because, Dingo wasn't there. And let's see. Annabelle and Ren Walker, who is the captain's maybe son, spiritual son, reincarnated son, or I don't know how it works.
So, Recorder, can you please put in a Hatsune mic right here?
So yeah, they have, a lovely time in this storm, chatting and learning about each other and smooching and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, mine and Dylan's characters go through the shit. Things are just rough and awful. We have this conversation where we talk to each other, but we don't talk to each other because things are really tense between us, because we both like the same woman, but we don't know how to address that with each other. So instead of talking to each other, we talk at each other. It's awful! But it's so good.
Alas, it's awful.
Alas. The awful relationships. But no, we kept rolling to read each other's minds. Basically, it's read someone is the move, but you get to ask them questions on a success. But we kept failing. But Summer, our GM, is like, ask a question anyway. Which normally rules is written, you're not supposed to do. The situation's just supposed to get worse right there.
Yeah.
But instead, things stayed constant, and we got to ask questions still, as if we had partially succeeded. So I was like, this isn't good. This isn't good. Something bad should be happening. Why isn't something bad happening? And listeners, let me tell you, when you do something bad and something bad doesn't happen right away, that means the something bad is growing into something worse. That comes and just bites you in the ass all at once. So our scene finally concluded with a gunshot ringing out in the distance, and then Harper who just stops breathing at the same time. So, the biggest buzz that were ever bud were bud. So, my character Dagny is super conflicted in this moment because it's like, I want to make sure the captain's okay. But at the same time, the ship's doctor's here, who also wants to make sure the captain's okay and is actually versed in this stuff. Meanwhile, I could be so much more helpful in figuring out this gunshot business. So she's really torn, but ends up making the decision to leave Harper in Elizabeth's care, which, by the way, Elizabeth gives mouth to mouth to the captain right in front of Dagny And Dylan rolled so fucking well that one of the side effects of his move was that the mouth-to-mouth impressed me. Because that's the thing you can do. Anyways, yeah, so afterwards, Dagny was just like, oh god, I need to escape. And so I did, and I ended up chasing down this person who fled the scene of the crime. That was the end of that episode. Next episode, Harper finally wakes up, and Elizabeth's there, and of course, they kind of reveal their feelings to each other, which, oof, ouch, owie, for my character. Yeah, and then Dagny, like, finds this guy and thinks she's about to get shot, so she ends up punching him in the face and knocking him out. And then bringing him back to the inn where the people who got shot have been shot, and one of them is Ren's dad, and the other is Graham Morton, who's this old guy who owns most of the island. And they're dealing with that, and Dagny finds out she didn't punch the shooter. It was someone else trying to get the sheriff. Because of course! And then, oh yeah, so, like, in order to save Ren's dad, Elizabeth, the doctor is like, go get my doctor shit off the ship. So me and Annabelle are like, okay. So we run down to the docks, and who do we see with a gun but Party fucking Charlie, our supposed friend. What does Dagny decide to do, you might ask? Well, let me tell you, she decides to fucking tackle him before he could shoot anyone. Of course, I end up accidentally getting shot because he dropped the gun and it misfired.
Oh, fuck.
It's funny because I think written in the rules of Alas for the Awful Sea, one of the tenets is if your player characters resort to violence, like, you know, punish them, essentially, because it's supposed to be more of like a social game. But I throw caution to the wind and say, fuck that, punish me, daddy. So, ergo, I got shot. But yeah, he's subdued. And then I tried to take him to the sheriff's office. And then I'm interrupted by Harper, which I totally forgot to mention, because Dagny is in love with Harper. I know the story has a lot of moving parts, but bear with me. Because he's in love with her. She has to, like, roll every session to, like, make sure the love is true or whatever. Well, I didn't roll that so hot the session before for that. So our love was a little complicated. So it turns out I was angry at her. So instead of listening to her whenever she's like, you need to let him go. That's not the most important thing that's happening. We got to take care of this. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because, you know, I was mad. So what does she decide to do? Well, let me tell you. She decides to use her weird monster powers because she is a bird. I think I failed to mention she's a fucking bird in a people disguise. She decides to call on the sea to sweep up Party Charlie and take him away. Because that's some bullshit you can do. So she does, and it ends up, like, I guess killing him. He's gone. He's fucking gone. It almost takes out Dagny. It washes away half of the fucking town. Like, this place is in fucking ruins. And then, like, she like turns into a bird while Dagny's not looking to like go get the ship because our ship is like halfway out to sea at this point. And Dagny's like, oh my god, she's dead, probably. And then I end up trying to go to the sheriff's office anyway because I have like a weird inclination that I should be there. And by the time I get there, I find out that they did the auction this entire time to see who would get the island. And then the worst fucking NPC won the auction because we rolled so shitty. Connor, it was terrible.
Have y'all like succeeded on anything in the past couple of episodes?
No! Not at all. We rolled like shit the entire time. That's why this story has just gotten so dark. Because we keep failing. And whenever you fail, the GM has to make things worse for some reason. So, the next time we get to play, which will hopefully be soon, will be our finale of sorts. We may pick it back up later, we'll see. But, yeah, I don't think there's any way to overturn the results of the auction. Although, that out of character, we have a very sneaking suspicion that this whole thing was orchestrated to try and take Graham out of the auction so he couldn't win. So this awful NPC orchestrated all of this. So, but like in character, I don't think we have all those pieces. So it's just we're gonna be dealing with the awful fallout of that. Oh, also at the end of the episode, another wave is about to sweep over the town. And one of the important NPCs is right by the beach, standing by the water. So, basically, don't play Powered by the Apocalypse systems. They will break your heart. Because there's so much creative licensure given to the GMs they're given vague descriptions of what you can do when something bad happens. Like, it's not a hard choice, but whatever. Hard choice, hard bargain, make the situation worse. It's like really vague, so the DM, GM, MC, whatever, can do whatever they want and just make things so bad. So, basically, my booty hole is clenched for whenever our next episode happens. Because I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen.
Oof. Oh boy. That sounds like a lot.
It really is a lot. I'm sorry for this 15-minute lore dump, but
We're Vance floor here.
but who fucking boy?
What about Monster Hearts?
Well, let's talk about it.
Ooh, we're doing parkour again. You thought it was gone because we haven't done it in the past couple of episodes, but
we keep forgetting to do parkour, but here it is. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, so I ended up starting a new game over on twitch.tv/pro-restarted. Here we go. Words. Pro-restarter. Thank you. Friend of the channel, by the way. Beep, beep, pew.
pew, 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 pew.
In a system called Monster Hearts, which I think we briefly talked about before, in which basically you are a horny teenage monster who is just dealing with the all-important drama of being in high school / college. I'm sure you can think back to that time. You remember how melodramatic everything was or felt like?
Yes.
So that is the whole mindset that you're in. So there are moves that revolve around flirting or like shutting down someone's social status. But there's also, it's geared towards the spooky and the monstrous, because it's an element of it too. And there's a mechanic in the game where you have mechanical benefits to having sex or some form of intimacy. You can define sex as however you want in that game. So yeah, you want to get laid or some equivalent of it because it ends up being better for your character. So that's the system I'm in. The horny monster game system. And so we've had our first 2 sessions so far, which have been interesting. So I play Violet Lucero, who is a werewolf.
Awu.
Big time Awus in chat. I did do that on purpose.
I know. I fucking know.
I was torn between 2 playbooks, and I was like, well, this is outside of what I normally do. This is more Connor's thing, so I think I'll do it. So, yes, I am a werewolf.
Once more. Awu.
Awu, indeed. So we're taking it a little differently than most Monster Hearts games. Most of them are designed for a high school setting. We are doing a college setting, as we are newly seasoned high school students. Most of us are freshmen, I think, with the exception of 2 sophomores. Yes, so my character is there on a athletic scholarship. She plays soccer. She is very feisty, pretty mean, also pretty flirty, and kind of has like this whole, like, I guess, lone wolf trope about her because she does not have a wolf pack. So she is big time sulky, very quick to anger and to resort to violence. So yes, very hot-blooded individual. So yeah, we kind of all met in the first session on our residence hall orientation because we all live on the same floor. And in that first session alone, I was able to get introduced to an NPC who knew some shit, set up a relationship where I would continue to learn shit from them. And then I ended up having sex with them because, well, why not? So, check all the boxes for Monster Hearts right there in the first session. But yes, my character did end up learning that there is some sort of presence on the college campus, which may be another werewolf. She's not entirely sure yet.
Possible Awu.
Awu?
Awu question mark?
And then in the second episode, let's see how to summarize. So there is a system in Monster Hearts called strings, and certain moves allow you to gain strings on people. And when you have strings on people, you can cash them in for different effects that affect gameplay. And one of them is to tempt the player for an experience point, which in Powered by the Apocalypse, experience is how your character gets more improvements, which usually manifests in failed rolls. But if you have a string on someone, you can spend it to tempt them to do something for an experience point. And no, fucking Pro Restarter, friend of the channel, tempted me for an experience point to totally shut down this NPC that Violet had sex with because they came over during lunch and were being super weird and creepy. And surprisingly, I've been rolling well that campaign, so I had almost no experience. So I did it, and boy, it didn't feel good to be mean. It felt real bad, man. Which is funny, because Violet's that bitch. She doesn't care about hurting people's feelings. But Kylen is sensitive and soft. I am like a mashed potato. So that happened, and then my character really wanted to talk to Pro Restarter's character because in like our bonds we established in our session 0, so his character's a Leshy, which I didn't really know anything about before playing this game, but apparently they're like, I don't know, rulers over the natural world is the lore registered trademark. So our bond was that my character Violet knew them from like, I don't know, some like forest commune. Like they had seen me in like my werewolf form and knew it was me because they're like the god deity of nature. So yeah, I was like, hey, I know you from somewhere. You know me from somewhere. You keep hinting at me being a werewolf. What the fuck are you? Basically, Violet was like, I need you to help me figure out what, like, I know that I'm a werewolf, but I don't know anything else outside of that. So, like, teach me how to be me and do what I do, because I don't have a wolf pack to help me. They were like, Josh's character was like trying to get Violet to like kneel, because like Leshy's whole thing is like they think they're the god over nature, so they're kind of like dicks about it, and like, oh, everything's like my servant, and so they're trying to get me to kneel, but like my character rolled well enough to like not be compelled by that, and I was like, so I like kind of stood up to them, so that made them like respect Violet more, and they were like, oh, okay, so maybe we could do this like as like an exchange then. So Violet ended up promising them that they would try and protect like the forest around the college and stuff, be like a guardian and a warrior in exchange for like this information. And, you know, of course, to seal the deal, because there was all the sexual tension surrounding this conversation, we of course had sex. So,
well, goddamn.
yeah, so we fucked. So Violet is 2 for 2 on fucking on the fuck to episode ratio. So
oof.
Which is very interesting because the werewolves sex move, they get +1 on rolls to defend the person they had sex with. And they also know whenever that person has sex with someone else, because there's like a bond that is broken and they can just like tell. So that's interesting, especially considering that PR's character is actively trying to get with another character who is a unicorn, because they're in love with him. So
that's Triangle Art's character, right?
Yes, friend of the channel, Triangle Art. So yeah, so that'll be interesting. Not that Violet has any strong feelings either way. She just likes to, you know, get down and dirty and bone. But you know, it's interesting dynamics. But there is another character being played by at the Bimbo Gamer, View, who is playing a witch. His name is Riley.
That's the RA, right? That's the RA?
Yes, who is our fucking RA. And so the witch's whole thing is that they can cast hexes on people by taking sympathetic tokens, which are items of importance to player characters and NPCs. And during character creation, he decided that one of his tokens was going to come from Violet. And then in our first session, actually meeting Violet was a big dick to him because he was trying to get her to play some like icebreaker games during this floor meeting. And she was basically like, fuck that. It was just like a huge dick to him. So he didn't take too kindly to that. And in that session, he hexed her and also Gaia, who is PR's character, and then like an NPC. Because Gaia was also being a dick to him, which is very interesting because if we ever find out that he did it, we are totally in cahoots together already and we will fuck his shit up. So you have been warned. But the hex that you put on me was particularly cruel because the binding hex, which prevents Violet from being able to hurt anyone, which is bad because that's like her whole MO. Mm-hmm. And also, my character has a move where I get experience every time I harm someone. And the spell. So, fuck me. Also, because he only had a partial success, the spell has a weird side effect. And the weird side effect that he chose it was that every time to hurt someone, she suffers the harm instead. So, that could turn out very, very poorly. Because while Kylen knows, Violet doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And Violet's mindset is anytime she encounters a problem, is to harm the problem in some sort of way. So that will not be good. And then we also like found out because like one of the plot threads in our game is that there is a cult of sorts living in the mountains and that has a presence on campus. And we find out that they have some sinister dealings and have sinister involvement with one of the characters' past. So that's developing quite nicely. And then, of course, we already have character drama established because Riley Santos has to die. That motherfucker. But yeah, I'm in terms of playing in the system itself, I'm having a lot of fun. I think it's a fun game. All the characters are a lot of fun. Played by excellent role players. The GM, Lilypad Nebula, BPU, friend of the channel, is really great. So yeah, it's just a really fun game to be playing, and I'm excited to see how it continues to grow and develop and blossom. Anything else?
Well, I mean, I guess we haven't played in like Iman Dragon Heights is done. I do have most of the notes on my Discord, so people who have access to the Discord via you might be able to do it from Patreon, even though I don't really advertise the Patreon or subscribing to the Twitch channel. If you have access there, you can get the almost complete notes for the Iman Waterdeep Dragon Eyes conversion, the Tal'Dorei conversion.
Hell fucking yeah.
So if you want to play through the same game that KyleWithAnN and Arsqueef have played, or just like a different spin on it, because Waterdeep Dragon Heist is a good module. You can go ahead and download that. Yeah. But we haven't played in that in a while because that campaign's a little bit over, a lot of it over.
It's over. Period.
We haven't really played in Adora, which is EJ the Grey's campaign, except we did do a boss battle.
Yeah, we had a short session like 2 weeks ago, just because one of our players had to scoot a little early, where we basically did a boss battle and kind of finished an arc.
Yeah, it was just completely combat, which was still fun.
Oh yeah, it was
Like
fun.
like sometimes it's good to do that sort of tactical thing.
I personally love combats in that campaign just because I am, of course, playing a bard, which, as frequent listeners of Latai would know, bards are my favorite class in 5e. Not just because of like role play and like out of combat opportunities, but I love the combat flow of playing a bard. I love giving inspiration. I love doing buff, debuff, fight control moves. I love it. It's so much fun. So having just a strict combat episode was a good time. I love it.
I like combats in that game because I'm playing a very high damage per second werewolf.
Yeah, you are DPS to the max, even if that D is to yourself.
And who boy was I taking a lot of damage because like I have a thing where if I transform, I already have a shit ton of health because I took like tough and
Resilient?
Resilient, yeah. I don't maybe.
I don't remember. Sober Connor might.
Cyber Connor can put in those feats because he can look them up. But I have a thing where if I take non-magical damage that isn't from a silver weapon, then I can half that damage. Almost as if I were raging. Well, all the damage that was being done to me was either done by magical weapons or was necrotic damage, so it didn't help me in the slightest.
Big fucking oof.
Big old fucking oof.
And blood hunters just love to hurt themselves anyway.
Yeah. Even whenever I was trying to do like pretty big old massive damage with like crimson rights and stuff, I would just end up missing. So
I fired, but I missed.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of turns where I was just like, okay, I want to do this and this and this. I want to set up for this big old thing. Roll the dice. 2.
Yeah, my character for that campaign, I do a lot of like spells that rely on saves, which almost feels a little better sometimes because whenever like it doesn't work, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
But also, I do tend to luck out sometimes because a lot of the things we have been fighting have been undead who do not have particularly good wisdom or dex saves. So I've been doing pretty well in the cleanup department.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I love balancing that between healing, between handing out inspiration. It's always just a fucking puzzle. Like, oh god, what should I do this turn? But, yeah, that last session was fucking crisis control. I loved it.
So we played in that game. That's another game that we played with EJ, Ginger Benji, and Osqueef.
Pew, pew, pew. Big friends of the channel.
But we are going to play in a game. Well, we're going to do a session 0 and also a little bit of a session 0.5 in a new game, a new campaign tomorrow in a homebrew setting by me.
Yes.
Very, very Eberron inspired. Eberron and Ravnica.
Yes.
But we had already played one session with different characters in a one shot that also took place in this world, just a different part of it.
Yeah.
So a publishing company called High Level Games had released a whole bunch of their one-page adventures in a Contessa bundle last year. And they're all pretty good. Like, it's real great if you have like 2-hour sessions and just want to come up with a really cool adventure that you can get through really quick. I wanted to do an adventure called Knights and Kumari, which has like, it dips its toes into like some political intrigue, but I wanted to put this in the world because Do I?
Oh, I just said wet, nasty toes.
Your wet, nasty toes in political intrigue. Uh, I wanted to do a one shot to establish a little bit of world building, and the big thing that I wanted to establish here was that number one, there was this sort of, I was thinking like Grecian islands, but with a lot of like fantasy Egyptian flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Because the module does feature like a lot of, yeah, it's an enemy called the Fallen, which are just like the mummified and resurrected, or the mummified and animated bodies of people who have fallen in battle or just like in life, who like serve and protect the cities of Kumari. But like this also ties into a big quirk in my world where like there's this treaty. It is outlawed the outlawing of the worship of evil deities and demons.
Ah, yes, the double negative, so it's allowed.
Yes, so it is allowed, and if your nation is part of this confederacy, part of this treaty, you have to allow the worship of that, and that can't be like that can't be a thing that you crack down on.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the fact that like in this hypothetical war, not hypothetical in this setting, but like in this war that I have is like the framing of end of the world. The nation of Drow were a very key player and essentially turned the tide of the war. And Drow are classically known to have ties to the Spider Queen, Loth. And they didn't want to be hunted down for, worshipping their matron god whenever, they were part of this confederacy and they helped, save the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought that would be a really neat, number one, way to allow players to have a lot of fun with their character concepts.
And that we did.
That y'all did. I'm very excited to get into y'all's characters and see what y'all get up to. Shit, I don't even know where I was going with this. I have gone very deep into the coffee tonight.
Oh God.
I want y'all to have a lot of fun with your characters, but also I want to introduce the fact that, well, not everybody's going to be okay with that, and we will see what that means tomorrow.
Oh God. I can't believe it's happening. No one panic. Especially not me. I'm panicking.
No.
But like good it's like excited panic.
Like anxious. Anxious is a good word.
Yes. Anticipation. Fear the unknown.
Yeah, so very excited to get into that. I did not prep that today. I have
me surprised.
I have notes from whenever I was like coming up with like, oh well, this is how I want to start the campaign, but like I haven't hammered out everything, and I'm probably not going to before we start talking about stuff tomorrow, because like we are going to start with like character discussion. Like we said in the last episode, it's going to be good to start with like a session 0, just like reestablish like what I want the story, like what I think I want to happen in the game. Everybody else will have their chance to like say, well, what do they want to get out of this particular game as opposed to like any other game. And yeah, we'll be able to get a fun, new, exciting thing started that y'all will get to listen to or listen to us recap and hopefully get the Twitter updates from all the wonderful players.
Come feel our feels after the fact with us.
But I think that's it for the games that we've been playing in.
I think perhaps it is time for a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I've been thinking a lot about my character for Indoors Salt Marsh game, but
Are we allowed to talk about that?
yes.
Shifty eye emojis. Are, you
Yeah.
don't you want to talk about that?
I kind of do.
You want to talk about it now or later?
I mean, yeah, this is still like a live stream game. So both Kyle with an N and I are going to be playing in twitch.tv/the Indoor Adventure. No, Indoor Adventures. Whenever the Ghost of Saltmarsh module or adventure book is released.
Yeah.
I finally come up with my character concept, and I'm just gonna say class and race because that's all I'm comfortable saying right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
This will be the first time I'm hearing of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be playing Kalashtar Bard.
Connor! Bard.
It's gonna be. I think that it's gonna be a very unique take on both the race and the class, and yeah, I'm very excited. I've been talking with Indoor a lot about this particular character. I'm very, very excited in a very new way.
So I will be playing, in a change of pace, a half-elf cleric.
Ooh, what kind of half elf? Or are you just like doing half elf?
No, I'm doing a Mark of Storms half-elf.
Oh, so we're both doing Eberron shit.
Connor, we're both doing Eberron shit. Same hat.
Same hat.
God damn it, Connor. Yeah, so we'll see how that comes up in relationship to who my character is and who their patron is and that relationship, because I think it'll be interesting. I don't think I've done something quite like this before, so I'm very excited and nervous to see if I can do justice to the story I have set out in my head.
Same.
Yeah. But, you know, more details will come as it gets closer to time and as we start. And of course, Latai listeners can follow along on our journey and feel what we feel.
Yeah. But for now, I think it's about time for a break.
Let's break about it.
Let's break about it.
Okay, what do we want to do for our break?
I kind of just want to throw in some Glitch X City, just because, you know, I really like Glitch X City's music.
Yeah. Do it, man.
And we can put an image of
a slowly expanding image of Chef Boyardee until it fills the entire screen.
I love it.
Stare into his cursed eyes.
Well, toodaloo.
Bye.
Okay, ladies, now let's get in formation.
Welcome back, bitches. So, Connor, what do you want to talk about today now that we've gotten OC smooching out of the way?
So, those of you who listened to Season 1, Episode 11, know that Kyle with an N and I, we have a like, sort of theater background. We're both definitely fans of drama and dramatic tension, especially whenever it comes to RPGs and our characters in RPGs. We sort of alluded to this during our discussions today. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to talk about like the decisions that we make whenever we decide to cause drama within the party. Things that we look for whenever we create a backstory, create dramatic threads to pull on and everything. And I don't know, I guess how we do that without trying to cross a line, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Kylen, you are definitely a fan of making characters who, from the get-go, are supposed to be able to pull on those sorts of threads and cause that sort of conflict. Specifically, I'm thinking of Zephyr.
Yes, I do. I like putting in, because to me, with every character, there has to be a reason why this imaginary spotlight is on them, if you will. So usually I try and come up with reasons as to why they would be an adventurer or a main character. And usually that centers around conflict, because we don't like stories without conflict. And usually I make this very much self-inflicted conflict, because I'm a masochist, it seems. So like in the case of Zephyr, my storyline that I went with is that I was wanted by a criminal organization that I used to have ties with for making off with some money and some treasures that were important to them. And that's what I came in with. And then along the way, more story shit was heaped on me. And as story shit continued to heap on me, I continued to make painful decisions. Because, again, this is just the kind of person I am, I guess, or the characters that I play, or both. But yeah, I usually like to insert that drama for the get-go, or if not specific drama, I also try to put in maybe insert characters into my backstory that DMs can play with and use to create drama. Is also a fun technique, I think.
I really like how you specifically use the word conflict. Bring in conflict either to the party or to yourself, because I had a very wonderful drama teacher during our time at the University of such and such.
Ah, yes, of course.
One of the things that he just made sure to get into our heads, the definition of drama is conflict.
Yes, baby.
Tension and release, just that conflict. So I definitely try to do a lot of the same things that you do. I definitely try to include a few characters in my backstory. If not originally, then like as I get more comfortable in the character and feel like, hey, this might be a good time to like start talking with my DM about more stuff, as I just get more familiar with the character and might want to start including backstory elements for choices that I've made throughout the campaign so far. In the same vein of like spoilers for Critical Role, let's say season 2 up to 50, episode 50.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Riegel's reasoning for not being afraid of water was not something that he had originally come up with. That's something that he included later based off of him making that character choice.
Oh, yeah. You know, I have a similar experience in one of my games in Alas for the Awful Sea. Dylan's character, Elizabeth, he has admitted that he didn't have a lot for in terms of backstory going in, but about halfway through, he was like, hey, I have an idea for something that happened to Elizabeth in the past. She's originally from Louisiana, but she left and came to the West Coast for reasons she hasn't talked about. And that's because whenever she was a doctor there, she was in love with one of her patients and didn't do everything she could to save his life to keep him there longer, and he ended up dying. So he came up with that halfway through, and from there on out, it really contributed to how why his character did the things that she did, and how she interacted with people, especially with the person that she was in love with at the time. Oh my god, it was so fucking good, and it came halfway through the fucking season.
Yeah, and I definitely think that should be a tool that is available to everybody as they get more comfortable in exploring a character, and as they feel like, hey, maybe this decision that I made could definitely have a lot more context. One of the things that I did for Arjan, my character on Indoor Adventures 4 Keeps, whenever I had originally come up with the concept, well, he was a blood hunter, so he was going to have that stereotypical monster hunter in this secret, like, supernatural order upbringing. Except he happened to be a dragon man that was found from somewhere. I don't think we ever fully explored that.
Haven't talked about that.
Haven't talked about that. As things started to gain more traction, I thought it might be good to, like, hey, let's add a little bit more trauma to his time being raised by these monster hunters, so that, once again, we can make terrible, terrible choices that mean that we can explore more stuff. In this case, explore a whole new map, a whole new section of the world, and have a whole nother character arc that's already, like, established for us.
Yes.
Or story arc, sorry, not just character arc. Because, well, the Warring Kingdoms are definitely a thing that has been talked about on the Indoor Adventures channel. It's not been something that we've really explored. And we don't even have a map of it right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to go over there and start exploring it there. Eventually, I want to keep there.
Yes. The first of your 4 keeps.
Well, the first of our 4 keeps was supposed to be on the Isle of Arask, but that's just a potion shop now. Whoops.
Whoops.
Again, because I thought that Arjan being upfront and honest about his things, it seems like it would typically be a great thing to do, right? But
honesty, not always the best policy.
This definitely made sense for the character, because Arjan is a very honest person, I definitely saw it having negative implications, but, like, doing the wrong thing for good reasons is, a lot of times, it seems like a definite fun, flawed thing to do. Like,
for the fucking drama.
I've had a lot. I know this isn't coming through coherently, but, like, I've had a lot.
God damn it, Connor.
It was my anniversary stream, okay? We had to celebrate.
Awoo!
Awoo.
So, yes.
Yeah, doing shit like being honest and almost dying for it. Or making deals with demons because, hey, it gets you what you want, and it's definitely the lesser of the evils in the world.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing things like that, things that add story and don't directly fuck over your party members directly. I love doing that in games.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I definitely know that there are times where I made decisions like that did directly fuck over party members. And it sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, those are sometimes very painful, difficult decisions. So much so that I try and gravitate towards decisions or set things up in my backstory to where any decisions I make just try and fuck me over and not fuck over other people in the process directly. I don't mind fucking NPCs over, but I'm at the point that I'm just like, oh god, I don't want to fuck with the party members. I don't want to drag them down in my nonsense. But sometimes it can't be avoided. But also at the same time, like if someone does that shit to me, like does something that fucks me over, I welcome it. I pretty much go into games just like, hey, I have a doormat on my back, so please step on me. Well, not on my back specifically, but on my character's back. It says, please step on me, ruin my life, fuck me up, make me feel things, do whatever you need to do to my character if it makes sense in the narrative. Which is tough because, like, I think a small part of all of us is like, I want my character to succeed and be a hero and have a happy ending. So, like, making that part of yourself not as prominent, just being like, shh, no, go with the story. It's a little tough.
Yeah.
You always want to be the protagonist. But that has like all the good shit happen to you and have a good ending. But sometimes, no, you need to suffer.
Shit. I'm trying to come up with like a definitive example of a time where a decision that I made has fucked over everybody else in the party. Not to like praise myself, but like part of that is just because like I typically don't want to take away the agency of other party members.
Mm-hmm.
Or of other players. I will try. I probably won't always be successful, but I will try to, like, if I do notice that a decision is going to take away the agency of another player, another party member, or just like get in the way of them, I will try to come up with like a reason why my character wouldn't, even if like I have to come up with some more context, if it's really out of character for them, or just like why would I stutter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's all I got. But like inter-party conflict on or drama just coming from players isn't the only way to bring about dramatic tension in your game. Like we were sort of alluding to, just having secrets, not knowing things about other party members and trying to uncover the mysteries is another great way to bring in some drama, some conflict.
That is the Kylen special.
In fact, that's how you get dramatic irony. It's whenever you know something that the character doesn't.
Oh yeah, it's interesting because I love both sides of that. I love not telling any of the other players shit about my character and waiting for it to come up in the fiction. But at the same time, I've gotten to the point where now I appreciate talking about those things ahead of time, like in session 0, being like, hey, here's my character's backstory. So here are the threads that you can pull to where it like comes out in the fiction, and it does have that dramatic irony. And then like in streamed games, like the audience also knows when those events happen. So I'm like torn. I see like the juiciness of both options, so I don't know what I like best. Maybe if I think about it, maybe like being completely transparent for stream games, but being a little more guarded in home games, I think.
Yeah, especially like since we did talk about this last week. In stream games, there's not always time to fully explore all of your character's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or have it come out, but like it's good to know the context of where your character is coming from. It's in things that are more long term, like Critical Role, where it is really fun to like go back and see like, okay, well, knowing what I know now, like knowing this new thing about Sam Riegel's character, I can go back and see like, oh, that has so much more of an implication on this character's choice now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing to like go back and do for longer term things, not so much in short term.
Yeah.
If you only got like 10 episodes, it's good to know that stuff from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
instead of waiting for a payoff that never comes.
Yeah, it's a way to set yourself up for disappointment.
I'm very impatient. I'm a very impatient man.
Oh, yeah.
So I typically like having all of my initial threads pretty much out there from the get-go. And I I figured this out because I've noticed that like with Arjan, I've had most of his stuff like out in the open from the very beginning.
That's true.
Like honestly, as soon as his shirt came off and everyone saw his tattoos, which you can get a shirt of in the Indoor Adventures merch store.
By now, pew pew.
By now, pew pew pew. It's got a really cool tribal Tiamat design done by me because I like it.
Copyright neutral Tiamat design.
A copyright neutral Tiamat design. And it's funny because like I've had it out from the beginning. Like he's got a giant tattoo of Tiamat on his back. No one has ever said the name Tiamat to him.
He's just like, who's this? Who's this chuckle fuck on my back?
I mean, he just thinks it's a really cool 5-headed dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But like he doesn't have any context for it.
Yeah.
It's been told to him that it's a symbol of a cult. And he's just like, okay, well that makes sense, I guess. I don't even know if he knows that there are like 5 distinct colors of chromatic dragons.
Dang,
he only knows about 2 dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's in the world of the Indoor Adventures, there's most of the dragons were spirited away during an event known as the Sundering, which is sort of like the same one from the Forgotten Realms, but not really.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't know about that. And so I'm just like, y'all should talk to him about Tiamat. And but that never happened. And so I was just like, okay, well, here I go, running my own one shot on or my own episode actually on Indoor Adventures. Let me throw in this like whole altar to Tiamat that just like appeared within his heart. Like throw in an Abishai who was sent there by Tiamat to maybe do something about this Solar that might kill Arjan. Well, the Abishai got ganked and no one's talking about the altar to Tiamat.
Nope. Can't talk about that.
And the memory that I left there that had something to do with it was taken by the NPC.
LMAO.
Which I mean that's fine. I think it's hilarious that hasn't been pulled on yet.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. But like I'm definitely the kind of person that's just like, okay, let me pull in all my stuff real quick. Now that that's out of the way, let's go pull in all y'all's stuff.
No, see, I am the exact opposite. I am the master of the long game. I will, even if my shit never gets brought up in game for like shorter campaigns, I will wait as long as possible before trying to pull on my own threads. Like I think we got halfway through Dragon Heist before Soleil was like, oh, by the way, the reason I was sent here was XYZ. In our Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign, the only person that knows that my character, Tyrell, is a gold dragon reincarnated is a fucking NPC. Still have not told the party members. It's been like 2 episodes that Dagny has been emotionally repressed. We're on the finale, and she still hasn't gotten anything off her chest. So, yeah, no, I love just fucking dragging it out. just playing the long fucking game. And, you know, if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. But if it does come up, there's payoff. But I'm also the kind of person who, although it seems like I do a lot and my backstory is to set up for drama, I think the main source that it comes from is that I basically just give my DM like free reins. Like, I'll come up with part of it and I'll just be like, yeah, I don't know this part. You can come up with that and implement it whenever you want. So I basically set up a ticking time bomb that the DM can detonate at any moment. And usually it explodes in my face.
Nah. No, I like having that stuff like out in the open, unless like I don't have control over it. And that's why I'll like make characters who like either just don't know about a lot of their backstory or like can't really talk about it because like it has to remain a secret or like they wouldn't be privy to it. But even
I'm doing like, that to you in this new campaign.
In the new... Oh, but because you don't have a history?
Yeah, no, I did do the amnesiac background because I was like, you know what? Fuck it. No. I'll let Connor come up with it, which it makes sense for my character. I'm like a recently reactivated Warforged. So instead of playing a morally dubious and devious character, I will be playing a cinnamon roll for once. But the cost is that I know nothing about myself.
For the Indoor Adventures Saltmarsh game, I don't want the characters to know about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be new for me. I really don't want the characters to know what's going on. However, I fully expect the players to have a really good idea of what's going on after the first combat.
Oh, Connor, you delicious bastard.
So
Ooh.
You'll just have to see what's going on there whenever that module is finally released.
And see, you know what's interesting? I think that I want what's going on with my character to be apparent. Or at least like somewhat apparent. Well, it sounds very vague right now, but I do.
Yeah, we've got to be vague about this because, like, we haven't even like told our character concepts to like the rest of the party members, and I don't even know if like the entire he's mentioned the entire cast on the Discord.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know if he's mentioned it to the wide public, but you should follow Indoor Adventures on Twitch.
Beep, beep, beep. But yeah, no, I want what's going on with my character to be, if not apparent in the fiction, to be played out in front of everyone else, which is very unusual for me. So, per usual, if we're not doing the same thing, then we're just like trading off and doing the exact opposite thing. Because fuck us, I guess.
But besides the mysteries and the things that you have control with for your characters, there's also a lot of drama that can come up in the narratives by themselves. Like, say, the little mysteries that happen within Dragon Heist, or the little bits of political intrigue that happen in, I don't know, other games. I guess that's something that happens in Courts of the Shadow Fae, but I mean, we haven't really played that. Honestly, looking at all the books, I don't think that that's a big thing in any of the adventures so far published for 5th edition.
What, like political intrigue?
Political intrigue.
Drama?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on the DM's Guild that do that, though. Wow, it's almost as if I have no idea what I'm talking about right now.
God damn it, Connor.
I will say that that's definitely something that, well, maybe not political intrigue, but political tension is something that I would very much like to incorporate into our campaign that we're going to start today.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like that's so tough. I mean, I know I have like next to no DMing experience, but like the idea of doing like societal discord or drama or tension, whatever, just seemed really intimidating to run.
Well, this is definitely my first time doing it on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you in on like my process right now.
Yeah.
I've already mentioned it. Like there's an inciting event, and a decision has been made that not everybody's going to be happy about.
Ooh, drama.
Okay, so there's already a point of conflict there, and it seems like a very cut and forward thing, like religious freedom, or only having good or well, non-evil gods being worshipped.
Mm-hmm.
And you could fall on either of those, as long as you can go either way on like one of those decisions. That means you can have characters who fall on either side of that, and will probably have strong feelings about that, and they're going to clash.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the people of a particular nation are within conflict because of things like that. Either, hey, we're stronger together, or we need to protect the soul of this country. Other factions could start to take root. Like maybe while everybody else is distracted, other people are going to try to take power in other ways. Like, okay, if we can see that like we're going to be separated from this country, well, who's going to be able to take control? Is that going to be like people of military might? Is that going to be people who are very strong in magic? Is it going to be people who create things? Or is it going to be the people who are in charge of money? Like all these people may want something. They may want to be. They may want power for selfish reasons. They may want power for selfless reasons. Everybody wants something. Everybody should be playing diplomacy. So, I'm a DM who definitely tries to respond to the wishes of individual people.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about what an entire nation state would want to do. I'm worried about like what influences the decisions of this one particular person who is in charge or has a lot of power within that particular nation or within a particular faction.
Yeah.
And what are the people who would back them and for why. So like for the same reasons that I try to come up with reasons why my own characters like Arjan would make a decision that could possibly kill a lot of people, like saying, hey, I'm going to help you in this war that you've been waging for 1,500 years to take back control of your kingdoms. I should be able to find a reason to say, like, why the hell would we be protecting the worship of Lolth, who is a very spiteful and vengeful deity?
She mean.
Right, but her priestesses and her people were very instrumental in taking down an even bigger evil. Stuff like that is something that I'm trying to get a little bit better at, and as I try, we'll come right back here to talk about my failures or my successes.
Knowing Connor, it will be a success. A success that he pulled out of his ass because he didn't prepare, but a success nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh.
Aw, bitch.
Aw, bitch. I don't know.
Yeah. Fucking drama, man. Lean into it. Create places for drama, but like in a
Do it safely.
way. Yeah. Safely, respectfully, using lines, veils, X's, O's, whatever you need to
for all of that, look at insert the episode here. Great.
Last episode. Yeah. Or, direct the drama yourself so you don't really have to, worry about hurting other people. Leave room up to your DM. Collaborate, coordinate, communicate.
Yeah, communication is always going to be key, but also enjoy the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure it's your characters who are being immersed in the drama.
And not you.
Not the players. Don't do interplayer drama, because that's
no, that's not fun. Yeah, and of course, feel free to take breaks for either like characters or character moments that are lighthearted. So not everything feels so glum all the time. I think that helps prevent bleed. Yeah.
Just so communicate, use safety tools, and hopefully you gain something out of this segment as we try to get our coherent thoughts on drama and how we've experienced it and put it forth in our games. But yeah.
Give it a whirl. It's fun sometimes, especially when you go back and think about it and continue to talk about with players. Like, remember when you did this? That was awesome. I was, on the edge of my seat. Blah blah blah. But
yeah. Yeah. You talk about it, but this was us talking about it.
Ooh boy! And did we talk about it in one way or another? I feel like
we talked about something.
I feel like those like yarn maps with all those different like connections and points. We basically told a story in a yarn map. It was all over the fucking place. But you guys didn't come here for a coherent podcast, please. There are plenty of those out there that exist. We're here to make your life miserable. No, but in all seriousness, we love and appreciate all of our listeners. Thank you for continuing to support the podcast. Hopefully these drunken ramblings bring something to your life, whether it's enlightenment or entertainment or, whatever.
Yeah. All right. And with that, we will see y'all later.
All right. Stay fresh, my dudes.
Woo. So
what?
What?
Oh.
What?